At the same time, and we are live once again. It's nice to see you all on both YouTube and Instagram. For those of you who are familiar with me, and for those of you who are not, my name is Odessa. I am a doctorate of natural medicine and a womb wellness coach. And today I wanted to talk about, this coming into awareness of the body, but being forced to, are you the type of person who waits until you're in absolute pain before you reach out for help? A lot of people do this and they think that it's okay, and they think that they have to muster the courage to fight through and work through and make it to the end. But I don't see that as a badge of honor. And especially for women, I see this to be very, very detrimental, especially if you are a person who is trying to or wants to become pregnant eventually one day. What I'm seeing is that women who I'm speaking with, people who I'm speaking with, have started off with not feeling aware of their needs, or realizing, I should say, that they are not aware of their needs. They recognize that their body is in pain, or recognize that that something is not on. You're feeling off. And oftentimes, there's this habit of waiting until a moment of crises, of waiting until you're revving your wheels in the same place, of, waiting until you are ready to take the natural next step and you can't because you're blocked for whatever physiological reason. And so by living in a state of unawareness, by being in a place of unawareness, this gives us the ability to perpetuate this kind of detrimental behavior of pushing and forcing and going because we think something needs to be completed, and not recognizing our own boundaries and limits and what we need to refuel, restock, and redo. And so here we have our menstrual pain, we have our, fibroids, we have our PCOS, we have our low AMH, we have our repeated miscarriages, and we think that we have to continue soldiering through and fight through and go for it and get these things done. And then you do eventually want to take your natural next step and you can't, because your physical body is in such a disarray because you've not paid attention to the signs and the symptoms that it's been telling you ever since when back wait. We have to pay attention to this now. We need to pay more attention to these taboo conversations that we've never had with our parents, that we're starting to have with women, that we're beginning to see other health, practitioners, platforms, doctors really start to have more and more conversations about the intimacies and the intricacies of a woman's reproductive health system and her own journey to womb wellness. That's my own emphasis added on, right? Because there's such a private, there's so many layers of hidden, tabooism that we can't get to these things. And so what happens is, I know there are a lot of women, there are many, many women who are probably around you in their day-to-day basis and are in pain, right? Going to the bathroom to lean against the stall and cry, you know what I mean? Or go home to ice their feet because the swelling is so much and the pain is ridiculous and they could barely even walk and they had to continue doing it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I know for a fact that there are women who are sitting there with a throbbing uterus based off of the conditions that they are living with, right? But we smile through it, right? We smile through it. How did you get to the point that you're at right now? How did you arrive at the point that your endometriosis pain is so bad? Is so bad that it knocks you out for days on end, right? Yes, there's 100% things that happen to the body, that go really out of sync or out of whack or out of congruence, you know what I mean, that we cannot control, but we will be able to exacerbate or mitigate the issues based on our own levels of awareness of what's happening to our bodies, our own ability to assess, and then our own ability to make the appropriate changes. I have the word negotiation in my mind. You're not negotiating with anybody. Get your shit together. Okay, I'm joking. And so based off of, having, your menstrual cycle has been missing for X amount of days, you can't find it, it can't find you. You know what I mean? Like you're trying different kinds of medication. You're going to your doctor, you're trying, pain medication, you're taking Empracet, naproxen, you're taking Deprova, you're taking IUDs, you've got copper ones, hormonal ones, you've got, pills, there's so many different options to, deal with the symptoms that you're experiencing, and so we will gain this level of relief because of these momentary, experiences of relief. It's creating more detriment for you in the long run because the chronic issue is still there. It's still developing itself and you are still pushing through. You're still bouldering ahead. You know what I mean? Because this is what needs to be done. And you have not given yourself a moment to address the issue on a deeper level. Because oftentimes, when women go to, have those conversations with their primary caregivers about the conditions of their body, of their wombs, of their breasts, of their hormones, of their endocrine system, their blood panels, all these different things. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just lost my train of thought. So anyways, let me just back it up again. So you tried a lot of pain medication. You tried the hormone IUDs. You tried birth control patches. You may have done surgery and you've done all of these different things, but it's not addressing the issue. And so the point is that you have these chronic conditions and you're unaware of, your own habits and how you are affecting the issue. Okay. So oftentimes, we don't realize that the process of what is needed to get to the other side is a bit more complex and intricate than what we are used to. And if you haven't got a scope of what it is that you're actually dealing with, right, you can't understand the level of work that needs to go into it. Now, this comes with having the conversations with your doctors, and it also comes with following your hunches. Because what happens often is we'll get information from our doctors and we'll take that, but there's something inside of us that doesn't feel complete. And it's that piece inside of you that isn't feeling complete that makes a difference. I just want to know, are you all hearing me right now? I want to make sure that you guys are hearing me. Just show me some love. Give me a comment. Can you hear me? Because I think something may have just happened on Instagram over here that had me losing my audio. So I'm going to continue here on YouTube. And so by the time your body tells you that it's hurting, by the time something is wrong in your physical body and you are able to say, oh my gosh, okay, this is exactly what it is at this particular time of the month, this particular activity that I'm doing, the issue has been around for so long. You know what I mean? The issue has been creating problems, has been building itself up. But we're not taught to listen. Once again, it's like, well, don't do these things, or, you have a niggling feeling and you just kind of push it to the side. We need to stop doing this because we're walking around, as zombies. You don't know how to, relate to what's happening inside of you. You're numbing yourself to the experiences because they're uncomfortable, but it's you, it's your body, it's all of you. And then at the same time, we want to practice self-love, but we're not accepting all of the pieces of who we are. If you are living with chronic pain, if if your fibroids have taken over and your experience is just filled with discomfort and excess bleeding, you've got to come to terms and really recognize, like, this is what it is. Like, I can't stop, I can't continue soldiering through this. What are the options, for me to be able to, make this better for me? You have to come to that awareness and start taking those steps, right? And so by not being in that place of saying, okay, well, this is happening to me, what are the steps? What happens is there's that whole repression. So those uncomfortable feelings that are coming up, those, symptoms that are coming up, those, emotional armoring patterns that we consistently perpetuate, right? Those keep on coming up. And then we continue to live with them, and we see our lives through these experiences because we're not, we're arguing with our loved ones, we're grumpy at work, we're short fused with our children. There are so many things that we could do, but we don't want to because we're just focused on getting by because of this gripping pain that we're living with, right? Because why? We are unaware of what's going on in our body because we suppress these chronic experiences. The loop is so obvious when you begin to pull back the layers, but it's just so many layers, and we need to start questioning and inquiring on our own bodies, you know what I mean, in a way that makes us feel empowered. The issues in your tissues are still there, right? Even though, like, you can plow through, you're still responding to the place of pain, to the place of avoidance, you know what I mean, to the place of shame and embarrassment over your body. Like, my body is not doing what I would like for it to do. It's not following the natural functionings. It's doing something different than what I expected it to do. And so, you know even though we're going to get our surgeries, even though we're going to, get our aftercare from our primary caregivers, you know what I mean? Like, are you repeating the same story? Are you are you repeating the same story? Are you getting the medication and still continuing with your problematic patterns, your habits, your preferences, the environments that you keep, the way that you think, the environment that has maintained your body? Because you cannot heal in the same environment that you got sick, right? And so, whether you're choosing to deal with the issues or not, the presence of, these underlying currents are still very much there. And so, for you to be able to start closing the gap, right? For us to be able to change this rhetoric, for us to stop walking around with chronic, pain, for us to stop walking around with chronic issues, chronic habits that we just can't seem to, get ahead of, the first thing we have to do is start to pay attention. Just start to pay attention, right? And answer your needs. As difficult and as easy and as simple and as complex as it is, pay attention to everything that's happening. What are you feeling? What are you smelling? What are you touching? What are you tasting? What's coming up? What, you know what I mean? Paying attention to this and answering your needs, your physical needs, because your body knows what it needs and it tells you. But the logical mind absolutely loves to investigate the issues on its own time and do whatever it wants. So let's just keep more awareness, right? And just pay more attention to your womb. Like, I keep on saying, your body has a voice. Your body has a voice, and different organs have different qualities of said voice. You know what I mean? If you ask yourself, go into a moment of meditation, go into a moment of prayer, and connect to your womb, connect to your breasts, connect to, you know what I mean, your heart. Raise your vibration, literally feel yourself lifting the vibration and connect with your higher self, with your energy. Go deep inside and connect with source energy, right? So prioritize your needs. Prioritize yourself. You know, it's counterintuitive because we are taught to give to others before we take on and care for our own needs. So I want to challenge you with that, you know, even if it's for right now, give yourself some time. So that was really all I wanted to come through and share with you. We spend a lot of time unaware of what's happening in our bodies, because of chronic health issues that have us suppressing and repressing the feeling. We don't want to feel the feeling, but it's just creating long-term habits that make an even more complicated web to undo. The labyrinth just doesn't end. So I want to encourage you to start. And so if you need support on that self-care, click on the link and download my free healthy kitchen guide, where you can start there and just organize your kitchen, your eating space, your healing space, and just kind of get an idea of some of the tools that you can have, some of the reasons why you shouldn't be using what you're using, just because you want to give yourself the best possible chances. If you have a toxic system, and toxic meaning like everybody has toxicity inside of us, but some of us have higher levels than others based off of the foods that we're eating, the products that we're using, right? You've got like headaches, dizziness, exaggerated menstrual cycles, absent menstrual cycles, whatever it is. Sorry, I was stretching my arm. But whatever it is that you're dealing with, one of the first places that you want to start organizing is your kitchen. You want to organize your whole environment when you're in the healing mode, because the inner and outer worlds, they correspond, but you want to start with your kitchen because your food is your medicine. So go ahead and make sure and click on the link in my bio and download the healthy guide, the healthy kitchen guide. And I will see you guys again. I'll be going live once more this week, and talking to you about what I love the most. So y'all take care. Be well.